All right, Kenman here. Today is die project number 29. Woo! What? Man, we are cruising through these. Before you, I have laid out all of the jade that I currently possess for the die project. Getting down there, only got 6 at this moment in time, unless there's some more coming in the mail. Maybe there is, I don't know. But yeah, we still have several. I'm nowhere near satisfied with the die project, so I will continue to do it because I love it. It's really fun. Before we start, not sponsored by anyone, and I purchase everything at retail price. I do these videos because I love discussing knives and sharing info and ideas with others. If you have any questions or thoughts, please feel free to comment below. All right, this is the Scut episode. Have this one for a little while. Nice looking blade on there. Really got a nice big ramp, kind of harpoony kind of feel. This is a nice little flipper tab knife. What color would you like to see this? Still awaiting inspiration to figure out what color we want that one to be. We have this huge Scut glide strike. Also a very awesome looking knife. Beefy. Got some bounce to it. Big old blade there. Flicks out real nice. Long, big, kind of basic looking handle. What color would we like to see this one though? It's got some heft to it. All right. We have Migaron. This is Talisman to the second, T2. I've already done one Migaron Talisman. It was my first trifecta. We'll go ahead and grab that right now. We did the die on the scales with the two-tone. I added, because it comes with this pocket clip, I added that titanium pocket clip, and then we anodized it in the green color. Then I also did the laser marking on the blade there. Kind of a texture stripe in the middle. Just some experimenting, kind of having some fun, but this was that first Talisman. Got a Kenman trifecta design on there. We could do the same with this. I could laser mark that blade. I could do some color on the scales, and then I also could get me another titanium clip, and we can swap this one out. Anyone have any thoughts, ideas, suggestions, what colors we want to do? I believe the last one was actually a tan, not this gray. I kind of want to do this one with maybe a green or a blue. Should pop off of that gray color pretty well. But the Talisman is a cheap knife, and it works really good. Migaron is just doing really awesome things with the budget world. And if you don't have any Migarons, I highly recommend them. They're pretty cool. This was one that was definitely more recent. This Kizer is really cool. I really enjoy the blade shape of this. Got some jimps that go way out. But just something about it. And it's just got that smooth Kizer drop. They make some quality stuff. Look at this, right? Maybe I can't flip it out, but I can drop it really easy. Boom. Not doing that one today either. We're getting down. Only 2 left. This Civivi Cache. Ooh, I really like it. Very cool knife. Underrated. I didn't see it. I didn't know about it. It had been out for more than a year. And then I found it. And I was like, wow, why is this not in my life? Why have I been missing it? Something about these kind of this bolster kind of area, the way they've kind of recessed the scales down into that. Just looks really cool. I'm very fond of this knife. Excited to do some die work to it, customize it a little bit, and start carrying it. Oops, there's my lefty liner lock fail that I'm good at. But if you look up close, look at there's texture inside the squares. Each one's got some texture within it. A lot of cool stuff going on. All right, leaves us with the Kubey Raven. Today, die project number 29, part 1. We're going to take apart the Kubey Raven, get it ready for its die. Had this knife for quite a while, actually. I it takes a little inspiration sometimes and decisions and what it is I want to do with the particular knife. Some of them I know right away. Some of them it takes me a while to kind of get inspired and come up with what it is I'd like to try. This one, like I said, I've had it for a while, but I have also known that I kind of wanted this to be like a blood red, not trying to give it away, but I've said it a couple times before in some other videos. This Kubey Raven, black and blood red, convinced me otherwise. That's the plan. If someone has something, comes up with something better before I start, then maybe I'll change my mind. But for now, I'm thinking a blood red. Action on this is great. I'm excited to get that pocket clip swapped to my side, start carrying this. A lot of the die knives, I don't really carry them. They kind of sit in that pile. I'm waiting for that inspiration to hit and to start working on it. So I don't really carry them as much as I would carry some of the other knives that I have. And so they still kind of seem new because I haven't had a chance to really use them. This one, oh, it's also just reminds me of a guitar, like a flying V kind of a guitar, the shape of it. It's just got some cool style to it. I dig it. All right, let's go. Taking this thing apart. I'm going to go ahead and pull out the old standard looking, maybe zoom back out, these little things I got set up for the die project so I can kind of move them around freely after we take them apart. We did our last look, sort of, but I didn't really say it officially. Last looks, never going to look like this again. Enjoy it. Soak it in. Wow, it's going to be great. Okay. So, we have a little cloth on a little board for us to do. Yes. Okay, so Kubey's got a nice captive pivot. I love how they put their little logo on the one side. Makes it really good. You only need one tool to loosen that up. And Kubey is also good at using T8s on there. Wow, am I really stripping a T8? What is going on? It's nice that they put those on body screws rather than the 6s. The 6s, like in the pocket clip here, they're just smaller, significantly easier to accidentally strip out. And so you got to be a lot more careful so you don't screw up those threads on those screws. Oh, we are not quite out yet. I think I was getting some spin. Is that? See, that is a T8. So the other side is a T8 that we're going to switch with the pocket clip. And so if this screw fits on that side, they just need to start making T8s for everything. Migron's been doing it. Companies can get on board with that, I think, at this point. I have a feeling what happened is a lot of those companies, they got going and purchased 10 million screws from some company, and now they've got 10 million of the screws, and so there's no sense in buying new ones. They're just going to keep using the old ones until they run out or something like that. I don't know. I could be full of crap. Okay, there is one. Look at that dirty kind of pocket clip crap going on there. I have to wash that up really good. Generally, I don't always remember to say everything. I've done so many of these now, I start to think that everybody else has kind of watched them already, but I should kind of still give some of the information for people that are new that haven't seen it yet. But I will wash those scales. Basically, if they have any oils or anything on them, that can be an area that could be kind of like a resist and prevent the die from taking as well right there, and then you don't have a uniform look with your die. And so it's always good to wash those up really well, get rid of all that gunk and oil and stuff. I gotta start being careful. I'm gonna start dropping things. Why does this really want to hold together? It's this spacers in the back of this right here. You gotta remember this is a knife. Why? Wow. Okay. We are learning. I'm trying to get these bearings up off the cloth. They have some oils and stuff on them. As you can see right here, it really starts soaking in, and I don't want it sitting on there. Just dry them out completely. Wow. You see that? That spacer, it doesn't want to come apart. Okay. That's just really tight. Huh. Hey, you see that right there? That is just so tight in there that it doesn't even really want to come loose. So I am just going to leave it like that for now. I could almost put it back together like that. And so since it's stiff, it might actually be something that's beneficial for when I do the reassembly. So we're just going to, for now, leave it. All right, completely disassembled. That back spacer is black. There's nothing I can do to dye that. I've had that question asked a few times. Basically, the way dye works is it is a color. So you've got your dye. It's red dye or blue or green, whatever. So you got your red dye right here, and it is red. Now, when you take that red and you mix it with something, it's going to be affected by it, whatever you mix it with. So if I have a jade colored handle and I put red on this, you're going to get a combination of the red and this little slight green. So that green is going to affect that shade of red. This is white. So white is also going to affect the shade of red, but generally the shade doesn't change as much as far as the brightness. Because white is a brighter kind of color, it's going to help make that color pop. So when you dye this red, it's going to definitely be more of a poppy kind of a red. Let's find an example. Okay, here's a couple reds that I dyed with the same red. If you see with the Vision, it's got this really nice kind of fire engine, kind of brighter red. And then the Artisan Cutlery Arroyo is definitely kind of more dull, kind of deeper maroon. And that's because the green, that green that was in there made this same exact color dye shift to a little bit darker. So if that makes sense, then basically you understand with dye, it only can add to where you are. So with this Kubey being it's white, we have the most potential to come up with a good color because it's going to play off that white. So I want to do red. I'm going to be able to get a nice dark red. This most recent red I did with this QSP Parrot. I'm calling it kind of like a red wine, but it's nice and dark. I'm going to probably try that one first, see if I can get it as close to a blood red as possible. Yeah, so 29 taken apart, ready to go. Pay attention for the second one. The second video is where we're going to dye that knife and get it all good to go. Okay, I have one more little plan for today. This stuff is in the way. Look, beefy knives. Maybe we'll talk about those at some point. Okay. Sorry about that, little hijack. I forgot to clear off this little space. It's always nice to just see what random knives Kenman has laying out. What were those? Did you see that one? What was that Kubey? I haven't had this one out in a while. Let's do a little hijack. Kubey Elang. Beast. Super fun. I love knives. Okay, so I'm hijacking this video here because I just want to do something real quick. This is the Kizer... I keep forgetting. Original. Nice little small little button lock. But I'm going to do some laser marking on this blade. If you haven't seen, bing, I do laser marks. Here's one on my pyrite. I did that lightning bolt. You saw the other, I'll grab this one, the Send Cut. Here's a removal I did. That's kind of what I'm going to have to do because if it's black or it's colored, laser mark you can make black. But if you want it to be lighter like that silver, then you could do like a laser removal, which is basically the same thing. It's just kind of a different process or different parameters of the laser. But this knife, I'd like to do some laser marks too. I don't know. My plan is the handle. I don't know if I'm going to do the blade for now. Just want to try some different things. But what we're going to do today is we're going to take this apart and get the handle ready. And then I'm going to prep that, and then pretty soon I'll do a laser mark on that handle. What's everyone think about that? So we're going to take this apart really quick. Oh, there it says right there. Original. Very original name. Ho, 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 ho. Idiot. Okay, those are all 6s. So when I take apart a knife that's designed like this, I like to slightly loosen both sides before I go crazy. Reason being that spacer that's in there. If you loosen one side and the other side's kind of tight, sometimes the spacer will stick to that tighter side, and then when you spin it, the spacer will just spin freely with it, and you aren't able to actually loosen it. And by getting both sides like this, I'm kind of able to get it started and then not really have to worry about that hassle later. There's been a couple times where I ended up having to put the whole screw back in on the one side so that I could just get it tight enough so that I could loosen up the other side. So you can see how it's just, if you just start off loosening them both fairly even, then you really don't have to worry about that issue at all, and then save yourself some time. All right. So yeah, I'm really having some fun doing the laser marking, but it's been tough trying to dial it in. Basically, what you've got with laser is there are settings, and each setting is, wow. Okay, I gotta pay attention. This screw, that's a weird spot for that. It doesn't have any spacer right there. It's just literally just a frame screw right there. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, laser parameters. Every metal or every surface that you would mark with a laser reacts differently. So just for example, like if I just run the laser mark straight across the body and then over the screw and then out the other side, the color of the mark going across the scale and then the color going across where the screw is could be different because that screw has a different composition than the scale does. And so different compositions, different types, what you're going to get is you're going to get different reactions with the laser. So basically, long story short, is I gotta pay attention to what I'm doing here. Okay, is that nope. Taking apart an interesting button lock that I'm not familiar with, so you always want to be kind of careful so that you don't put yourself in a situation where you're confused. I mean, I can go back and watch the camera again and kind of help remember. But yeah, it's good to kind of pay attention as you do it so that when you go for that reassembly, you're not as completely lost. And I'm going to set that on the blade. Let's see if I can pop this out of there. I cannot. All right, I'm going to find a way to get that out later. But actually, I don't even really need to take that out. The reason I did that is now look at the surface that I have for this. So when I do this laser mark, it's going to just be a nice clean surface, and so I can use this and I can coat it, or if I want to over drop it, I don't have to worry about it hitting the screws or anything like that. And when I put all the screws back in, it'll look nice and uniform. So that is my plan. Basically, I have a pattern, kind of an idea in mind. But that's what I'm going to do. So you can also pay attention for that video coming up. We've got this torn down. And lots of good stuff coming in the future. I really love doing all the customizations. I want to get into some more of it, some more varieties. Going to start cutting some metal and bouncing everyone around. A lot of good stuff coming in the future. So stay tuned for that. That is going to be it for today. If you enjoy what you see, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you would like to see more. Helps me out and I really appreciate it. Laser marking coming soon on this. Got the die coming really soon on this one too. Like I said, pay attention for it. And a lot of great stuff coming in the future on the channel. Stay sharp. We'll see you soon.